morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a little bit of a look at what's going on with Destined Rivals. You see, Destined Rivals has been out for a couple of weeks now. We've just hit North American Internationals this past weekend. So what is going on with the prices? What has been happening for the past couple of weeks since the set has been out? Well, I want to start off, we're going to kind of do a loose top 10 like we tend to do with these update videos. But generally speaking, you know, look at things like some of the illustration rares. Misty's Lapra's gone from $75 pre-sale down to $30 or just kind of thereabouts. Love it. Big fan of this. Love this card. Would love to pick it up. Realistically, I'm going to pick up the Japanese version because that's generally what I tend to do. But I do really appreciate the fact that we've got this coming in here as, you know, a card which is becoming a little bit more reasonable. And then we see, you know, the exact same thing happening with Team Rocket's Meowth. We had a pre-sale of over 60, and once again, that one has gone down to about 30 pretty much instantly. We like this. This is generally what we expect. But there's another card outside the top 10, which I do find very interesting, and it's Yanmega. Specifically, we're talking about the Yanmega Special Illustration Rare. Obviously, you know, when you look at the lower end, the cards tend to be very cheap. It's hard to get meaningful patterns. But up at the higher end, we do tend to see things playing around a bit. And here's the thing about Yanmega. Dropped down to just below $25, and it's creeping back up. It's gone up to about 30. Now, I'm not saying that this is a card which is about to take off and jump into the stratosphere or anything like that. It's a $30 special illustration rare. Let's not go crazy. But then, by the same token, this is a card which is starting to go up. And generally speaking, after the release of a set, we expect things to go down. And the thing about this Yanmega is, people are starting to think this one might be playable. There is a playability angle which is creeping in for this Yanmega, because it's got an ability Buzzing Boost. When it moves your bench to your active, search your deck for free basic grass, attach them to this Pokemon, shuffle your deck. You've then got 4 energy Jet Cyclone 210, and you get to move 3 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench. So you get kind of one big smack with Yanmega that you really don't have to try very hard to do because of the ability, but then you move the energy off to where you actually want it to be. And there's a really fun combo I've been seeing some people playing around with here, which is using this with Scramble Switch, so you can actually use Yanmega's ability and then immediately Scramble Switch another Pokemon into the active, and you've got the energy right there where you need it straight away. I'm not saying this card is about to jump up and get ridiculous, but I absolutely am telling you that this is a card which I could see continuing to creep up. You have been warned. But let's go on now through the top 10, have a look what's going on, because things have been changing. In at number 10, we've got Ethan's Typhlosion. Now, this one's an interesting one because this one actually spiked up on release. Went down to about $37. And then immediately jumped up to 55. And is now back down to 43. It's a card that we can't decide on. It is a card that's going up and down. And my answer to Ethan's Typhlosion and what's going on right now is, we're not there. I'm sure in the not too distant future we'll get there. We'll figure out exactly what's going on. Jobs are good 'un. But right now, we're just not there. On the one hand, the set is out there, it's out wide, prices are falling. On the other hand, we're talking about a card here which is both playable, Ethan's Typhlosion is a good deck, and beautiful, and first partner Pokemon. Add it all up, things are getting interesting. Now in at number 9, we've got Ethan's Adventure, a card that actually goes very nicely with Ethan's Typhlosion. And this is doing exactly what we would expect. This is going exactly like we expect cards to go on release. It had a pre-sale of like $100, which, to be clear, I told you this at the time, that's just silly. Way too high. Way too high. And on release, it did drop down, but it's kept dropping down. It's now sitting there at like $44. So this is a card it's gone down, and it's going to keep going down, presumably, for a little while at this stage. It is, honestly, crashing quite nicely, as you would expect it to. Not every card on this list is, and we'll get to a bunch as we go through that are working in a slightly different way, but this one right now is doing exactly what it should. In at number 8, we got Misty Psyduck, the card that I am personally hoping for a big crash from. I've said this in several videos, and I mean it sincerely, might be my actual favourite artwork on any Pokemon card ever. Genuinely. Psyduck, Misty, Water, Okacheke, add it all up, happy Wassy. And what we got here is a card which has been crashing quite nicely. Pre-sale of 95 was obviously ridiculous. It's come down to 55. One thing that I do find interesting, though, this one actually hasn't just gone down. It's largely gone down, but it actually went down to 45 and has crept back up to 55. We're not talking about some of the other cards we're looking at on this list where they are starting to creep back up again, but we are still talking about a card which hasn't just gone down and stayed down, it's starting to creep back up. So keep an eye on this one. This one could get interesting. In at number 7, we've got the Gold Mewtwo, and this is another one which has just crashed. Pre-sale of 160, and it almost immediately crashed down to 60, and honestly, it's kind of been hanging around at 60 since then. This is a $60 card. Crashed down to a $60 card, has stayed at about a $60 card. Which honestly seems alright. Like, this is the big Pokemon in the set, although it really hasn't ended up being a big card in that regard. Like, I don't want to be mean here, but I've seen some metagames over in Japan, some like 1 or 2 week snapshots where it's had a little bit of a run, but it's not proven to be a great deck. But then by the same token, it's still Team Rocket's Mewtwo. It's a gold version. It's got Giovanni on the artwork. Make no mistake about it. This one's looking cool. In at number 6, we've got Team Rocket's Crobat. And this is an interesting one to me. Because what we've basically got here is a pre-sale of like 170, which was absurd. And then it dropped down to like 100-ish on release. And it's just kept dropping. It's now sitting there at $65. And this one seems a lot more like it. Because the thing to remember about a card like this is, and I don't mean this in a mean way, this is not supposed to sound mean, because I love the card on a personal level, there's nothing special about this card. There's nothing about this card where you look at it and you go, oh, yeah, no, I get it, that card's going to be ridiculous. It's got lovely artwork, but so do a lot of cards. It's interesting playability-wise, but it's not actually really seeing any play or success right now. It is just an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill special illustration rare. And that's not a bad thing. There's a lot of special illustration rares out there which are just kind of pottering along quite nicely. This should be one of them, and it is. But then how do you explain number 5, Team Rocket's Nidoking? Which should be doing the exact same thing, but that bottomed out at like $90 and has gone back up to $100. And $90 isn't exactly bottoming out for what should be an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill special illustration rare. This isn't a bad card, and it's one you pull from a pack and you're like, woo, got one, yay. But this should be a fairly run-of-the-mill special illustration rare. The artwork is fine, but nothing absolutely spectacular. The card playability-wise is fine, but not that great. Sure, it's got Giovanni on, but so do a bunch of cards. This one, to me, this is the one that I don't really get. I see why it went down, but if you have a look, it only went down from like 110 pre-sale to 90. It did not go down that much. And then it started creeping up again. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This one I've got my eye on, because this one right now doesn't seem to be making too much sense. One which is crashing, and I'm happy to see it, is Team Rocket's Moltres. I say crashing. This is another one of those cards where we need to look at the y-axis. Because although it is just a straight down, and let's be clear, it is pretty much a straight down, we've only gone from 150 to 130. So we're not exactly talking about a card which has absolutely cratered instantly. We're talking about a card that's gone from 150 to 130. It's lost some value there. But this one is not crashing. And this is one of those ones where I think the art might actually be special. There are certain cards that capture the player base and the collector base's attention for just being redonkulous, and I think this Team Rocket's Moltres is one of them. It, when I've been posting about it, has been a lot more popular and generated more interest than things like the Nidoking. I'm seeing a lot more posts from other people about this. I think this card is a little bit special. Playability-wise, it's meh, but this is, of all the Team Rocket cards, other than the obvious one, this is the one that people have been getting a bit more excited about. In at number 3, Ethan's Ho-Oh, another very big card. It's Ethan, it's Ho-Oh. It was the big card in Hot Air Arena, or at least one of them, over in Japan. But again, if we have a look at this, we're still talking about a card which is, you know, it's gone down and kept going down. And again, look at the y-axis. This isn't like Moltres. This has gone from 210 down to 140. It's lost almost exactly a third of its value in the space of a couple of weeks. This is a card which has cratered. But it's still got a long way to go. It's still $140, which still seems high for the third biggest card in the set. So when I say cratered, I don't mean it's gone as low as it's going to go. I mean it's really gone down hard. I think there's more room yet. But then we look at Cynthia's Garchomp, and up till now, we've seen, you know, mostly going down with a few having a little bit of a resurgence. Cynthia's Garchomp's like, nah, mate, I crashed on release, I'm going to crash on release, I'm always going to crash on release, that's what cards do. That was a mistake. Let's go back. And this card has gone back. And it's gone back hard. We had a pre-sale of 220, which was obviously absurd. So on release, it crashed down quite nicely to like 190. And it's already back up to like 210. Cynthia's Garchomp is playable. And I've seen at least top 64 at NAIC this past weekend. It is a card that has seen play. And success already. It is a good playable card. But is it this good? I'm not sure, but what I'm telling you right now is, whereas a lot of the other ones are crashing down, this one is not. This one has gone back up. As has the number 1 card, Team Rocket's Mewtwo. Pre-sale here of 450 is done, went down to 320, back up to 375. And this, it did go down very sharply on release, let's be clear. But every so often we get cards, and we've talked about this a lot, where they are too high. They should not be this high. And yet, the collector base, player base together just go, pump it up, mate. Let's get that up. Those are rookie numbers, pump it up. And that is exactly what's happening here. This card should not be going up. This card should not be this expensive. It crashed quite nicely on release, but it's now going back up. And I'm not saying this is going to keep happening. Now, it is worth noting that essentially the jump up happened the first week after release, and the second week after release has been pretty much dead stable. Maybe that's indicative. So it's not, let's not pretend it's gone sharply up and is climbing again. It had a jump up and has stayed, but there's another one I've got my eye on. This one should still be crashing, and right now, that ain't happening. So there we go. Destined Rivals. A lot of them are going down exactly like we would expect, but not all of them. There are some interesting things afoot, but I've told you all about them, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. What have you pulled? What have you got? Which cards do you need to pick up, and are you going to get them now, or are you going to wait? Let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join the Discord, and all kinds of fun things. and get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter for a while now, and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.